Okay, back again. This is my third time trying to make this video. I just came back from the gym, had a pretty decent session, I would say, but there's just been a lot on my mind, and what better way to kind of make that a little bit better than, have a video about it. But yeah, I just finished my exams as you can see. Well, wow, yeah, clearly the blood's not going to my brain, but I'm sitting back down on my chair. I've given myself that right. But yeah, I'm not gonna. This is the last take of this this video. If I like fuck it up, I start like saying some random shit. Like we're keeping that in. So, well, other than the stuff that I cut, but yeah, I wanted to talk about how easy a lot of people have it now. Maybe that's misleading. I want to talk about how easy I have it in terms of like just like my experiences in life and the things I'm going through and whatnot, and why I should really never be making any excuses for anything, really. I think that's the way I try to live my life. But I think over the past week, I was like, oh, I have exams, I have like traveling, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I can't record, I can't do this, I can't do that. And oh, you can take a day off and whatnot. But I don't know. I feel like this will be a short video, but I feel like excuses in general, at least for me, like it's just bullshit. It's honestly just bullshit. Like, for example, like I had exams, right? But I also was watching a lot of watching a new show, right? I was watching like 2 3 hours a day, right? Not necessarily studying for an exam. Like, why couldn't I have recorded there, or why couldn't I have done the things I wanted to do there, right? Or for example, I traveled to a different country, right? And I had to miss like a day of the gym, right? I was like, well, why is that the case, right? Like, why did I have to visit the gym? Maybe I could have gone to the gym there, maybe I can organize it better, right? I fully believe in taking like all like responsibility of everything in your life. I think at least I think that's the only way that you can grow as a person, because if you like victimize yourself and if you say like, oh, oh, woe to me, everything is happening to me and I can't do anything about it, then you are just letting the world kind of mold you in what way. And I I never ever like that's like the one thing I cannot have. Like that's like this incompatible with like the person I want to be, because if I tell myself like, oh, oh, you didn't, there was nothing you could do, you had no effect, no change, no say in what happened, then at that point, then I'm not really living, right? Like, for example, right? Like again, like the example with like recording, right? Like today, I thought I wasn't gonna record because I'm gonna go out with my friend, I'm gonna go this and go there, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna have time. But I try to just like continuously tell myself like, listen, like you make the time for the things that are important, and you make excuses for the things that are not. Well, that was a line line and a half. But exactly, like if if I say, for example, say like, hey, I can't do this thing today or whatnot, it's not necessarily because it's never like, I don't think there's any valid excuse, like in general. Like let's put it out there, right? Like I don't think excuses exist. I think it's less of an excuse, more of just like, how important is it to you, right? Like, and I give the example like, say for example, you need to make $100 by the end of today, right? Most people will say, oh, it's not possible. Most people will say, hey, like I can't do this, right? But if, say, for example, they say you have to make $100 or else everyone will just die immediately, and like you actually know this is going to happen, like you believe this is going to happen, then you do whatever it takes. You take money off the ground. You would maybe you'd rob a bank. Maybe you would do something that doesn't necessarily align with your values and whatnot, but because it's that important, you do the thing that you have to do, right? And I think that's really important, and a really important thing to kind of realize. I guess this is kind of off the topic of taking it easy, or I have a lot of things easy, and I think the main thing I wanted to say is that like, obviously I'm studying, I'm doing like university, I'm trying to get a degree, But a lot of people don't have that opportunity, right? And a lot of people don't have the opportunity to, say, for example, record videos. Like they may not have a phone or they may not have the proper equipment. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to go to the gym. Maybe they're in a war torn area and going to the gym means you're going to get, a bomb thrown on your head or something like that, right? Or maybe this means that, like, hey, you don't have access to high quality food or proper drinking water. So you can't, like, make as effective games, right? And I think that all kind of culminates into the kind of thinking like, well, there are so many things that you could say that are like a limiting factor. Like, for example, like you can clearly see I'm black. Maybe I could say, like, oh, well, because I'm black, I'm not going to be able to get the job I want because of racism for some reason, right? Or I could say that, hey, because I'm not like I like to say I'm 6 foot, but like because I'm not 6 foot, like maybe people aren't gonna like me, people are not gonna find me funny, or I'm like, for that. But for every reason that you give that is like, hey, you can't do that, then there are like another hundreds of reasons why you can do it, right? And I think it's just kind of what you listen to and what you really prioritize, right? And I think every day I kind of realize that, and it's like more. I kind of wanted to share that because it's less about what you think it's less about kind of like what is out there. It's kind of what you believe and then what you tell yourself. And as much, and I think I'll end it with this, is like I think to be successful in any facet, you do need to be like a certain level of delusional. Like genuinely speaking, like if like for example, like actually I'm not gonna make this example because I have no idea what I'm talking about for that. But I really do believe that in the sense that you can't achieve anything without actually believing that you can achieve it first, right? Like, how can you achieve 100% on an exam if you don't believe that you are capable of doing that? Because if your mind is telling yourself you're not capable of doing that, then your body is going to act in accordance of in accordance of your mind. And this is like this one I'm actually not making up. It's like from a book I read. I think it's called Psycho-Cybernetics. I'll link it in the description. But it talks a lot about how your mind and your body, it's like it follows one another, right? Your thoughts influences your feelings, influences your thoughts, such that your thoughts influences your behaviors. That's like cognitive behavior theory, right? And essentially by doing that, you're able to, like, if you change the way you think, right, you can't necessarily change the way you feel, but you can change the way you think, and that can kind of affect your behaviors, right? All in all, I think I've gone off of so many different tangents, even though I wanted to stick to one thing. But the main encapsulating point here is that, at least for myself, I feel like a lot of things are easy, right? Like, I have two parents who are still in a relationship. They're able to pay for my tuition. They're able to, help me if like I need like emotional support or something. I have I'm healthy. I'm male. There's so many things that that I have that a lot of people don't, and can be, and a lot of the disadvantages that a lot of people that I may see in myself, and may be why I say like, hey, I can't do it, I feel like is very much overshadowed by the advantages that I do have. So I just wanted to say that, yeah, just maybe just stop focusing on the disadvantages and don't give yourself a reason to fail, and you don't necessarily need to find a reason why you need to succeed. You just do, right? But yeah, I just want to talk about that. Hopefully the lighting's a bit better. Kind of changed the angle. I got another tripod. Well, I had the tripod before, but yeah, I feel like I was talking a bit quiet, but whatever. I'm gonna cut the call, cut the video. But yeah, see you guys later.